life comes from the word perpetuate, which means something to continue. So in short, the perpetuation of life is the continuation of existence. As Simon de Beauvoir develops, life is occupied in both perpetuating itself and surpassing itself. If all is maintained itself, then living is only not dying. It is essential for the existence of all living things. It supports sustaining an equilibrium between different biotic constituents of the ecosystem. It also helps in evolution as variations arise via reproduction over many generations. In addition, being independent is crucial for existence since without interdependence we cannot function independently. A crucial and healthy component of our physical, mental, and emotional growth is interdependence, which is when two or more people rely on one another for support. Life doesn't make any sense without interdependence. We need each other, and the sooner we learn that, the better for us all. Eric Erison indicates. So hi, hello, hi. Are you guys feeling okay? Yes or no? Nor yes. By the way, my name is Kim Sarah Montrao and I'm here to spread knowledge all about reproduction of animal and plants, genetically modified organisms and DNA, biotic potential and environmental resistance. Have you guys heard the word reproduction? I hope you all know what it is. For us to know, I'll give some info on how living organisms reproduce. Reproduction is specifically the process by which living organisms give rise to offspring and which fundamentally consists of the segregation of a portion of the parental body by a sexual or an asexual process and its subsequent growth and differentiation into a new individual. Let's start to explore plant reproduction. Plants reproduce to pass on genes to future generations through sexual or asexual methods. Sexual reproduction involves both male and female gametes. The carpel is the female reproductive part, which consists of stigma, style, and ovary, while the stamen is the male reproductive organ and consists of anther and filament. Let's move forward in asexual reproduction. Vegetative propagation refers to asexual reproduction in plants, where one parent plant produces offspring. There are different senses where plants can do vegetative propagation, either natural or artificial. Natural vegetative propagation is where offspring are produced without assistance from gardeners or farmers. It involves bulbs, tubers, runners, and rhizomes. Bulbs when roots splits, while tubers form underground the stem, while runners extend from vertical and extend above along the ground, while the rhizomes produce upright stem with leaves forming independent plants. Overall, natural vegetative propagation involves various methods. And now let's move on to artificial vegetative propagation. Artificial vegetative propagation is taking a piece of one parent plant and causing it to regenerate itself into a new plant. Let's discuss the types one by one and begin with cutting. Cutting involves stem-formed plant which develops new root into a new plant. Second, layering involves bent-down branches covered in moist soil with a growing tip above the soil. Thirdly, grafting joins two plants to grow into a new plant. To summarize, artificial vegetative propagation involves cutting, layering, and grafting. And now let's move to animal reproduction. Animals reproduce asexually or sexually to form new species. Asexual reproduction involves a single parent producing genetically identical offspring. Parthenogenesis and fragmentation are methods of asexual reproduction, with parthenogenesis involving unfertilized egg becoming embryos like Komodo dragons and fragmentation involving the body parts breaking into fragments and regeneration. In contrast, sexual reproduction requires two parents to produce offspring, with gene combination from both parents increasing species variation. Fertilization occurs within or outside the female reproductive tract and can cause oviparity, ovoviviparity, or viviparity. Oviparity involves the parent laying an egg. Ovoviviparity completes development within the mother, and viviparity involves eggs developing internally and receiving nourishment from the mother's blood. As a child, I was curious about how babies are made and how genes are inherited. I now understand that traits shared by parents are due to inherited genes, which can be from both parents or based on dominant traits and family history. Over here hear all about DNA. DNA facilitates the transfer of genetic information through protein synthesis involving transcription and translation processes. DNA produces messenger RNA and sends it to ribosomes, while translation reads the genetic code to produce amino acids forming a protein. Have you ever wondered how DNA allows the production of proteins in the body? A copy of the DNA is created when a protein is synthesized, and it is then delivered to a ribosome. Ribosomes use the data read from the mRNA to put together the amino acids into a protein. The ribosomes that produce the protein will be free-floating in the cell cytoplasm if the protein is intended for use there. Can DNA be manipulated? For you guys. For me, yes. Genome editing is a method for making specific changes to the DNA of a cell or organism. It can be used to add, remove, or alter DNA in the genome. Genetic manipulation is done to change an organism's gene content. It is a multi-step enzyme-dependent process. Restriction enzymes are used to cut the DNA, and the DNA ligase is used to glue it back together, but this time after the addition of a gene from a different source. We already talked about DNA, so let's move on to genetically modified organisms, or called as GMOs. GMOs are living organisms manipulated through genetic engineering, creating combination of plant, animals, bacteria, and virus genes. They offer benefits that increase crop yields, reduce cost, reduce pesticide use, enhance nutrients composition, resistance to disease, food security, and medical benefits. However, GMO risks include allergen development, cancer development, antibiotic resistance, DNA changes, and toxicity for the body organs. These risks are primarily attributed to the growing population. Let's now concentrate on biotic potential. Biotic potential refers to a species' ability to increase under ideal conditions influenced by factors such as reproductive rate, early maturity, and longevity, which affect its rapid reputation. Environment resistance is a process where certain elements or factors prevent species. These effects include competition for resources, predators, habitat fragmentation, climate change, and pollution, all of which threaten species survival. To conclude, plants and animals reproduce via two types, asexual and sexual reproduction with different methods. We also explore how DNA allows the transfer of genetic information and the production of proteins in the body. Also, the benefits and risks of genetically modified organisms. Moreover, we add the biotic potential and environmental resistance. The idea of this perpetuation of life and interdependence is rooted in concept of sustainability, which emphasizes the importance of preserving the natural environment and the resources it provides for all living organisms. This idea can be seen in the way organisms interact with their environment and with one another. After exploring this information, I hope these lessons may inform you all about the perpetuation of life and interdependence, and also help you increase your knowledge and understanding. And that is all for my address. Thank you so much for joining me today. Your enthusiasm and energy have truly made my day special. I'm so grateful for your presence and support.